G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Alright, tonight I am canning up some tomatoes. I am back to work tomorrow. I've got to go back into the office. And of course I've got a glut of tomatoes at the moment. So I'm going to quickly can them up using the water bath method and using no liquid method. Now I'm using the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. I'll throw a link down below so you can, an affiliate link for Amazon. It doesn't cost you any more if you buy it through that link, but I do get a slight tiny amount of money, which does help out me and the channel. All right, so as I said, I'm jammed for time at the moment. Back to work tomorrow. My tomatoes will probably give me the biggest harvest they're gonna give me for the season. So it's time to can them up. So off we go and let's jump into it. And I've got to move pretty quick. All right, away we go. Our first step before we even get to this step is to sterilize all the jars. You want to get them all nice, clean, sterilized before you even make a start. All right, our next part is we want to go through, want to peel all our tomatoes. Of course, they've been washed after they were harvested. Always give them a quick rinse off. All right, so peeling tomatoes, trying to peel it just by hand, it ain't gonna happen. You're gonna end up tearing flesh off. So what you can do is give them a flash boil. You're just dropping them in the hot water. They're going in there for 30 to 60 seconds, and that should, with the combination of cold water that we're going to use after it, make the skin tear. We're not trying to cook the tomato, we're just trying to get that skin loose. As you can see, the skin's starting to tear on these ones, so straight in the cold water. We want to stop any cooking process. Look for the next one the skin's tearing on, then that one goes in. Just that one, that one. So I just run them through in small batches, then I'll peel them and start processing them. Here we are over at the bench. I've got my wide mouth pint jars all sterilized, ready to go. Our tomatoes, which have had the skins loosened on them, my chopping board, my knife. Next couple of things, I'm going to try these out. These, again, Amazon, and I'll throw the links down below. This one is for scooping the core out of the top of the tomato. So give it a go. This one looks a bit more fun. Again, it's for removing the core from the top of the tomato. So you open it up, you dig it in, you twist it round, and it's supposed to bring the core out. So, hey, looks like a bit of fun, and I'm all for trying something that might be a bit of fun. Okay, empty bowl for the odd bits. Right, now, with tomatoes, you want to use some citric acid, either citric acid or lemon juice. Tomatoes are an acid fruit, but they can vary between tomatoes, so you don't know that you're going to get it acid enough for it to keep properly. So when you're canning them, you want to add some citric to it just to make sure that that acid level is at the point where it's going to keep your tomatoes safe. So you want to add a 1/4 teaspoon for these pint jars. If you're using quart jars, you want to go with a 1/2 teaspoon. All right, so peeling. As you can see, that little bit of cook time, that peel comes off just fine. And I'll flip the peels out to the girls tomorrow. Alrighty. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. That works magnificent. Awesome. Cool. I don't even know that I want to try the other one now. Actually, we'll do the bigger one. So this one's got some jagged teeth on it. Just dig it in, go around. There we go. Both do the job. That one's a lot more fun. I'll give you the news. All right, so we go through. Peel up all our tomatoes. This is a little bit more awkward doing it under the camera so you guys can see everything. Absolutely love this thing. It's a lot quicker than the old way of doing it, which is using a knife. I normally use a knife to just cut in and get that core. But yeah, that's super quick and easy. So that's that first batch done. Then you just cut the tomatoes up as you want to use them. So for me, I'm just going to cube them up. Okay, and from there, straight into the jars. As you can see, these have got plenty of juice. I do not need to add any liquid to them. Okay, you need to make sure you're removing air bubbles on the way up. You can get one of those fancy air bubbles removers, or you can be like me and use a chopstick. Okay, you want to make sure, even though it's a sloppy process, you're keeping everything off the rim of the jar. Last thing you want is to get the rim covered with stuff. Okay. Now you want to leave them so they've got, this one obviously needs a wee bit more. You want to leave them so they've got about 1/2 inch, which is 12 mil. Probably a bit more than that. So maybe 3/4 inch. Yeah, it says a generous 1/2 inch, so allow a bit more, because tomato can siphon out when you're water bathing it or when you're pressure canning it too. So a little bit more than the 1/2 inch. So this one really doesn't need a whole lot more in it. I'm going to go through, I'm going to process the rest. I've got 8 jars here, which is the maximum I'm going to fit into my big stock pot, which is what I use for a water bath, and I will scoot through, do the rest of these, and meet you back in a bit. Okay, bye for now. All right, folks, there's that messy process done. So, yeah, last step is you just make sure all your rims are clean, and you just put the lid on. Twist the top down just till it engages, and then you just want to make it finger tight. So it doesn't want to be cranked down hard, because if you do that, then it's going to put too much pressure on it. The air will still get out, but there's a good chance you can blow it up. So you just want to have it tight enough that you're going to stop that water getting in, so it's just a finger tight. All right, now all of this goes into the pot. Now, because I'm not using a proper canner's water bath, I don't have the rack on the bottom or anything like that. You can, being underwater, you can put a cotton tea towel in there. If your jars are rattling together, you can put a cotton tea towel between them and that will work. But it should work fine. Now I want to cover this so there's at least a couple inches above the jars, and I want to bring it to a boil, and I want to hold it there for 80 minutes. So it's got to hold at that boil for 80 minutes. You want to keep a hot kettle nearby or another pan on the stove. That's the good part about pressure canning, is the water's all contained within there. With water bath canning, you don't. The water's not contained because you're boiling water, is going to evaporate away. So you need to be ready to replace the water just so you can keep that depth in there. Once it's finished, we're going to let it cool down by itself. That's your danger period for siphoning. And then after that, once you're down to a tepid temperature, you can bring them back out again. So I will join you again in a while. Okay, there we are, all done. I just want to, hot jars. Tighten the lids down now. Just to make sure you get that seal as they cool down overnight. And you can see we've got separation there. The water and the solid has separated out. That should settle down as it cools down. Still a little bit of bubbling going on. There's still plenty of heat in there. So everything should cool down, settle down, and it should be all spread through it by tomorrow.